All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the the February 14th meeting of the Select Board. If everyone would please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Looking to review the agenda and approval of the agenda as written. Looking for a motion.
Move.
Second, roll call vote.
Bailey, aye. Mancheck, aye. Sakosha, aye.
Nap aye. I will open our first public comment at this time.
You're participating virtually,
Want me to speak from here?
Right up to
Just
the
have a
seat,
seat.
please.
and the microphone's on the table right in front of you. Yep. Just start with your name and your address.
The first thing I wanted to speak on.
Name and address, sure, if you would, please.
Ken Grant, 372 Parker Mountain Road,
Great, thank you.
is the, of course, it's a new construction of a town hall going up. One of the things that concerns me on these public buildings is that not all taxpayers can have their name on the building that they pay for. It seems like it ends up being just a select group. And that would be rightfully so, the contractor building it, the designer, engineer designing it. But then following that, if all citizens who are paying taxes in the town can't be on that, then that's where it should stop. It doesn't, in my opinion, give the right to exclude so many of the people that pay for it, and the selectmen or whoever else that's elected bodies, their names appear on it. So in all diligence, I think it's important for you to understand that I think I know I've seen a number of buildings in other places that it's, you know, the designer, the engineer, and that's where it stops. And sort of a dedication or something, acknowledgement of all the taxpayers in the town, not specifically any one name or sets of names. So that's a thought, and I think serious consideration ought to be given to what I feel is important, you know, so if that would be considered. The other thing is I have my cable TV bill here. And on it, it says a local TV surcharge, and on my bill, it's $19.23. Now, I emailed Connor, and I was thinking at the time that I emailed him that Connor is the administrator of the town. He's getting certainly over $75,000 in benefits and salary. Not a difficult question, but I emailed and I didn't get the answer, the dollars and cents answer that I was looking for, which I feel, as I explained it in the email, that Barrington is the cable authority that with MetroCast, and they are the authority for the town. And I asked for a dollar and cents answer of how many people are receiving this and being charged for this. And I'd like to know that. I'd like to know the dollar and cents amount that the taxpayers in Barrington are paying for this local TV surcharge. If you would take, I mean, I'm soliciting that tonight as a continued request to know that. And I think it's, as I said in my email, I think everybody should know that in this town, what we're paying for. And then perhaps you could speak about what's being provided. I know, I understand the cable authority, which was explained, but that again, that didn't get to my request. So I'll wrap that up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to make public comment?
If you're participating virtually and you want to make a public comment, you can raise your hand. If you're participating on a phone, you might have to press *6 to unmute yourself. Speak up, wait to be recognized by the chair. Be another opportunity for public comment towards the end of the meeting. Nothing coming through on my end, Mr. Chair.
Hearing none, I'll close public comment. Looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda,
Motion?
seconded
Second.
by Select Person Bailey. Roll call vote.
Bailey, aye.
Patrick, aye.
Sakosha.
Nap aye. We have no appointments. Staff reports, Administrator McIver.
Thank you. The only thing I have tonight here, the first meeting. We need that participant. Is the February work anniversaries, of which we have 2, both in the police department. So I'd like to thank Tyler Courier, who's now a police sergeant for 3 years of service in the town of Barrington, and Daniel Brooks, who's the deputy police chief for 2 years of service. Everything else I have is on other items throughout the agenda.
Good. Municipal Office Administrator Cottle.
I have no additional requests. Thank you.
All right. Old business, we have the Class 6 private road building policy.
So as we discussed at the last meeting, this is a written out draft of what we discussed, what the planning board proposed. Obviously, it's quite a change from where we are now, but addresses all the nuances which we've discussed, balancing property rights with the importance of safe public access and maintenance and improvements to roads. And the town's attorney review made minor adjustments to make sure that we covered our bases as well.
Any feedback from the board? I know I had reviewed it, thought it was pretty well written. It allows us to continue, it allows us to continue making incremental improvements and improving the roads while protecting property rights of the residents of town. Select Person Bailey.
Thank you very much. But my question is, did the department heads confer with you or with Connor, Mr. Chairman?
Nobody came back to me. I've been monitoring my email. I don't know if anybody provided any feedback to you on it.
It's been a collaborative process from the beginning. Do you have a specific question or would you like?
Oh, no, that's the question I had. I just wanted to make sure. I did that really so the public would know that we did ask for other individuals from our department heads. Thank you.
Is there anybody that has any other commentary question? Looking for a motion to approve the amended Class 6 and private road building policy, or the Select Board's Class 6 and
I
private.
would like to make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
So motioned by Select Person Bailey, seconded by Select Person Mantrek. Roll call vote.
Bailey, aye.
Patrick, aye.
Sakosha.
Nap aye. Very good. Under new business, we have the highway 6-wheel dump truck and equipment bid. Everyone should have gotten a note from Mark specifying the 3 trucks and the 3 packages that were bid, and it looks like the Freightliner lost their build slot, so they have pulled out of the process, leaving the International and the Western Star. Select Person Air.
As a select person and taxpayer and future expense, Western Star has more money right now. And I feel mixing the fleet up too much. Because it's brought up by the fire department, they went with the Freightliner and tried to get the Universal and stuff. So basically, there's International down there, there's Freightliner, and there's Peterbilt, Western Star. So we'll have everyone in a different vehicle. I don't see it saving money and spread out for maintenance purposes. Today, you look at the Western Star and International, my understanding, it's all the same engine, basically the same drivetrain. And aluminum cab or metal cab, preventive maintenance is up. The salt's gonna get it, even that aluminum cab, the mount is up, the rest of the truck. So I can't justify myself spending the extra money and mixing it up, it's up for future management of the highway department, having all kinds of different vehicles. I think it's gonna be a growing expense. And I brought it up before, preventive maintenance and stuff. And what would it cost to go refurbish some of these vehicles? There's newer trucks with the emissions and stuff, and computers, you're not getting a better vehicle. If you have something you know what's wrong with it, you fix it up and send it. I mean, this is preventive maintenance is up and then pre-trips is up. You know what's going on with your vehicles. So I can't support spending extra money now and in the future. And also, we don't need a new plow truck right now. What does those open and stuff? I think the road agent for the town has a better time. And they may not have the build slots, that truck's available. As a farmer, simple person, I was looking around, I could find vehicles. And I think the deal is good too. Thank you.
Back to the rest of the board.
Road agent on, does he want to speak to it?
Is Mark present?
He's available.
Mark, would you like to unmute yourself and comment on the selection between the International and the Western Star? I know we've all read your review.
Yeah, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay. And once again, same approach as last year. It's the difference between a 10 or 12 year truck and a 20+ year truck. I'm after that aluminum cab to stop the cab rust. Don't get me wrong, anything is better than the truck we're trying to replace now. So if we have to go the route of brand X, we can, but it kind of defeats the motion that we have going forward to try to get more longevity out of the trucks with less rust prone components in the trucks.
A question that I have, Mark, is when we look at our trucks, where are we seeing them wear out? Because historically, if I remember correctly, it was less to do with the bodies than it was to do with the mechanical components.
No, it's the dump bodies themselves. Prior to the stainless steel bodies that we're running now. We basically got one body right now that we just pretty much had to rebuild on one truck, and the body on the truck that's due to be replaced probably will not hold another coat of paint. The reason for the mechanical problems of some of these trucks previous was that bad run of Navistar motors that we got stuck with. There was 3 of them, the Max Forces. Those are the cause of a lot of the heartache and a lot of the expense.
So when you started this, just for my own clarification, when you talked about bodies, you talked about the dump body. Are we running with the Viking body? Is that an aluminum dump body?
Stainless steel.
Stainless steel?
Cabs that are aluminum.
The cat, yeah. I was gonna say an aluminum dump body would be a disaster.
Yes, you're correct.
I don't know, I could see where Dan makes some sense on this, having, similar trucks in the fleet, but, I also see the longevity of it. Corrosion's gonna happen regardless. Just what can we do to slow it down?
Mm-hmm. Other
As
commentary? Go ahead.
as far as any major component failure on any of those trucks, there hasn't been transmission failures, there hasn't been rear end failures. There hasn't been engine failures with the last three internationals that we have. No failures as such, but just a lot of inherent problems with their EGR systems, their DPF system, the particulate filters and all that. It's just a lot of inherent problems with that motor.
Is the Western running the same motor as the International?
No, Western Star is running a Cummins L9, and actually the International that's being bid, they've discontinued the problem motor. International has, and they're running the same. Both of these trucks in front of you have the same engine and same transmission, more than likely, same series of Allison transmission. So running gear wise, they're the same truck, but body cab wise, the Western Star's got the aluminum cab, the International does not.
Mm-hmm. So the question is an aluminum cab worth $9,500?
Correct.
$9,500 for an extra 5 to 10 years, right? In theory.
As long as we get that, I think that's the big thing, is making sure that we, that becomes, like, if we do like they've done with the fire department, you should have your life schedule of your trucks, and I believe we have that for the highway department as well. And it should be that these trucks go down with a 20-year life expectancy. Minimum. Select person there?
It's all about the maintenance of too, is I'm running 89.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a steel cab, it's having a blue film, and then we just sold a town truck, and it's on the roads for free now. And that's what I'm saying. With all the salt, calcium, different stuff, it eats up anything you do, even the aluminum. Aluminum has steel mount back. That's the cab.
Mm-hmm.
And aluminum does oxidize too. That's what I'm saying. I personally, I believe in fluid film, but I put it on regular and stuff and keeping it clean, because nothing lasts, even new vehicles. There's any mechanic that works on these new vehicles, they're all rusty.
Select person Bailey?
I'm asking a question, is there, on the mounts between the cab and the chassis, with the aluminum and the steel, is there any preventiveness there for electrolysis between the two different metals?
Rubber mounted,
The rubber mounted?
rear bags.
Okay, that answers, okay. And this vehicle has that.
I would have to ask Mark that question.
Would the chair please do that?
Mark, did you hear select person Bailey?
I got part of the gist of what he said. Can you repeat the question?
He was asking if the mount up between the cab and the mounts have either rubber bushings or airbags.
There's not a physical connection. That's what
I
Between the
believe there
body
may
and
be-
chassis.
I believe they're airbags, but don't quote me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
How would the board like to proceed?
I don't have the expertise.
My questions are
Challenge
answered,
either.
so.
So I think I'll defer to Mark on this particular case. So I move that we accept the bid for Western Star for
$115,949. And do you want to include in your motion the awarding of Viking Sives, the equipment of $66,720 for a total combined cost of $182,669?
I was thinking we were going to do it separately, but yes, I will make a motion to include the whole package.
Okay. Seconded by Select Person Bailey. Select Person Air. Call vote.
Yeah, no.
Bailey, aye.
Handshake, aye.
Nap aye. I will comment that I actually agree with Dan on the idea of getting your fleet so that it is consistent. And this deviates from that process. The other piece that I look at is if I take the additional $9,000 expense and spread it out over 8 additional years, potentially it isn't going to mean a hill of beans in the grand scheme of our budgeting. So.
No, the only comment I would make is that the other offer is essentially the same, running gear.
Same truck, just a different body.
Right.
And we don't expect to see this truck for 10 to 12 months. I don't know the best information Mark's getting. The reason the international or the Freightliner pulled out, didn't bid on it, is because they didn't have build slots until well into 2023. And so, to Select Person's Air point about this winter, we're thinking far in advance, unfortunately, just based on the economy and supply chain. So. Thanks for the decision. And it wasn't in the motion, I guess, but the intent, as indicated in town administrator report, is to use the highway equipment capital reserve fund.
Yep.
Amended like that. Thank you.
Under new business, you have the 2022 deliberative session review and ballot session information.
So obviously we were all there, but the deliberative session was on 2 Saturdays ago. Fast and efficient, less than 2 hours. Very effective meeting. The full recording of that meeting is on the town's YouTube channel. The link is in the town administrator report. There was one amendment, which was a board-sponsored amendment to Article 33, clean up the language and implement the staggered approach, the stepwise approach to increasing the all veterans credit. So the warrant is finalized to be voted on March 8th. The entire warrant with descriptions of the zoning amendments, the budget process, and articles that aren't straightforward is available at barrington.nh.gov/2022 warrant. For those, also on March 8th, the school warrant will be voted on. That was finalized on Saturday, that's most recent Saturday. At their deliberative session, there was one amendment there that was also sponsored by the school board that inconsequentially adjusted the contribution to their facilities capital reserve. So the voting on March 8th, we are in preparation for. At the next select board meeting, I'll be asking for select board members willing to participate throughout the day. We're supposed to have a quorum of the board present throughout all polling hours by state law. So that's Tuesday, March 8th. So take a look at your calendar now, and we'll be looking to discuss that at the February 28th meeting. And that's all I have.
Very good.
Bailey has his hand up.
Select Person Bailey.
I have a question. What was the official count of participants?
I do not know.
Thank you. Can you find that out?
Quaint.
Quaint, I
Official
think it was like, I counted 31, so I don't know how close I was.
I think there was more than that, but I will get you an official answer.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Fourth quarter fiscal analysis. Hopefully everyone, Connor, got to see the information. The only item I had a question on with regard to that, based on the $632,208 that was returned to unassigned fund balance, plus the unexpected revenue projection of $483,983 for a grand total. Does that go to unplanned revenue as well? So that
goes into unassigned fund balance.
Unassigned fund balance. Sorry, that's what I mean. cannot get my thoughts together tonight.
Mhm.
So we added, essentially by adding back in plus the unplanned revenue, a little over 1.1 million.
So that's going to be a good ballpark. It will be less than that. Remember, these are unaudited, and some of the big things that the auditors do in preparing our financial statements is making those adjustments for our liabilities, whether that be retirement liability, health liability, things like that. And so that all negatively impacts unassigned fund balance. But yes, that's a good ballpark. And that was ahead of what we projected through the budget development process. So if all of the warrant articles pass, I'm confident that we'll remain ahead of the 12.5% of the range select board targets, the midpoint of unassigned fund balance.
Any other commentary from the board on? Select persons reports.
Conservation map and stuff. Rick got no balls, so I don't know. They ready to go. And then basically they went over everything and then MOU. Brought up both the dams, the sewage strip and stuff. And then two, Townland hasn't met yet. And, Joyce Capriolo showed up in the meeting. Likes this board, she really should go along, has to connect with the town land. To the joint, and so it was, isn't any information from the liaison stuff. And then, there's some, Paul wants to step up, and I put an email, I want official, I'm resigning from the conservation commission as a full member. And, I'll put a, thing and put it right. So I put an email also, the board did recognize, thank you.
So I do have a question on your, in the start of your report, you talked about them meeting on the dam and what to do with the dam. Can you elaborate on that a little?
No, I just informed that was brought up, and I made a statement at the deliberation and stuff. Lady brought it up and stuff, and then I expanded on that with all the subcommittees, trails and stuff, and being good stewards and stuff. And then, money that was up to $190,000. It looks like we only get 166 from that ordeal. That's the money that's going towards the dam.
Going toward the dam.
So this is it's a reimbursement is what it is. The Conservation Commission already paid for it, but it was a grant that was approved by DES towards the Goodwill expansion. So the Conservation Commission paid up front. I think it was 190,000. Does that sound right, Dan? Is what they paid up front.
Reimbursement.
And with the intent that most of it is going to be reimbursed. My understanding is it's down to a possible 166,000 primarily because the Panish easement wasn't included. So the DES in paying towards conservation easements like that, they have minimum requirements to be included in the conservation easement deed, and the DES, the requirements from DES and the owner of the property couldn't come to terms on including all of the requirements, which is fine. The town's still glad to have the Panish easement separately, but the town was using that as part of the match to receive the full 190,000. So that's why it's down to 166. But for what I understand from the Conservation Commission chair, is that they intend to allocate those funds that they received back towards the dam reconstruction project.
Okay.
And so Panish was appraised at like 50,000. The city will reverse half of that, so 24, so like 166 plus 24, you get the 190.
Gotcha.
That's how they do the math. So basically lost $50,000 and half of that, so.
Okay. Thank you. Select Person Bailey?
Thank you very much. I have nothing to report. Tuesday of this week, I have the library, and Tuesday of this week, I have the ZBA.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Wednesday, ZBA,
Yes, that's correct. I'm sorry. I thought I said that.
Select Person Mantrick.
School board, deliberative session, their warrant for operating budget's gonna be, $27+ million. And then they voted on an extension of, or for a new contract with the teachers, a new 3-year contract. The first year will be adding another 395 to that, up to 395 to that. And they had $150,000 for a capital reserve. And they have 7 candidates for 2 slots. Transfer Station Committee met on the 7th. We talked about the metal, how to handle metal. I'd kind of like to get a sense of the board. One proposal is to go with Harding, which would cost us about $42 a ton. And then we get to sell that metal. The current price is around $100 a ton. The lowest it's been the last 3 years is $50 a ton, but there is a risk if it went below $42 a ton or thereabouts. We would be paying Harding Metal to take our metal. The other side of that is Ponderosa currently doesn't charge us anything, but then we don't get anything from what they sell. We'll have more details on that the next meeting, which is next week. But I'd kind of like to get a sense of, do we want to, as a select board, are we willing to take some risk, or do we want to take essentially no risk, but not make any money? My personal opinion would be that we might want to go with it. Like I say, the lowest price in the last 3 years has been about $50 a ton. Not a big sum coming in, but it's some. The other thing we talked about was composting. Going with Mr. Fox would actually cost us more than what we're doing now. Most of that goes to MSW. So we don't think that's probably a good idea, although we want to encourage people to compost as much as possible. And there are a couple of things that will be coming down the road on proposals for that. Roadside cleanup will be this spring as usual. We have 2 applicants, maybe more for the new members. We need 2 members to fill out the committee. Just FYI, the book bin that they put in since August has over 3 tons of books and paper, magazines, and the clothing bins that went in effect in October have collected 5,200 pounds since October. So those are pretty successful programs. We don't make any money on that, but it's.
What do they do with them? They shred them?
I'm not sure. The books, I think they shred.
Insulation.
Yeah, and the clothes,
the same.
we're not sure exactly what they do with the clothes. Some of it, I think they actually use the clothes. Others, they use the textiles for various things.
Mhm.
And we're going to meet again this week, and we'll have a better proposal as far as the metal. So I want to have some sense of how risk averse we are, how we're willing to take some risk.
Select Person Air, I
How many
think
people
has.
bid on the metal?
There were 3 people. This goes through the NARA, the recycling people. There were 3 of those. The Harding was probably the best price. There are 2 others. We'll have more details on that. But again, I just want a sense of the risk people are willing to take.
I don't think it's a big risk, managing scrap metal. And in fact, the better you manage it, the more value you get out of it. So that's probably the biggest problem, is we're just mixing it all. So,
Well, and we're going to get some details on that too, that I think that's one of the things we're doing. Again, I just want a sense of how risk averse we are as a group.
I've actually spoke to, the owner of Harding about it, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, exactly like you said, so. As long as people are recycling the metal, I mean, it shouldn't be an issue. We're filling the bins, but if we're not filling the bins, then it's gonna cost us money at the same time.
So is the $42 a ton essentially the cost for them to plop a container here and?
Yeah, and when they pick it up, and it works out to be about, there's a fixed price when they move the container. We don't move the container until it's full. We can call them, and then we charge that, and if there's 5 tons in the container, that works out to be about $42. I think it was $219 or something like that for a pickup.
Do you know how many tons of scrap metal we got rid of last year? We should have a tipping
Aaron
fee.
had the number, but I don't know what it is.
I can get you that information. It was in their minutes. Aaron provided it to them.
Yeah, I forgot that number.
Aren't you?
Go ahead, select person.
Town of Lee, they have a pretty good transfer station over there and stuff. I witnessed them town workers bringing up a bale of aluminum foil that they collected over there how long. I think it's $600 for it.
They do their own hauling.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that helps.
So all we're paying for is the hauling, and Harding doesn't have any fuel surcharges. That's one of the things that sets them apart.
Mhm.
So they estimated that if we get about, if next year or if a year was the same as last year, that we'd end up with about $10,000 or $12,000 worth of revenue. So 4.5 tons per haul, 36 hauls per year. That was on the high end. Our current container has about 3 to 4 tons. The problem is we don't get weight slips on that. We know how many times it was hauled, which is about 36, but we don't call till it's full. And estimate holds there 4 tons.
So you're looking at just shy of about $4,000 worth of tipping fees for them to haul.
Exactly. So it'd be 14,000 in revenue, and after the expense would be about $10,000.
Mhm.
And they don't haul until we call.
Is that the tagline on the side?
That's it. Do you like that?
They don't haul.
But,
Uh,
I mean, it doesn't justify, it doesn't justify us having a container, but,
Trailer.
well, that's, if you start getting into the, yeah, but then you gotta tow it, you gotta have something to haul it. And you start going down that rabbit hole and road and then.
Pay Lee to haul it for us.
Huh?
Pay
Pay
Lee
Lee.
to haul it for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
swing
Yeah.
by.
Yeah.
Just pick it up on the way.
Drive on up. We're not on the way to Harding, but that's all right.
Right. I mean, I support the idea of us actually getting some revenue out of it. I don't think metal is, if metal tanks, we got real problems, so.
Well, I'll bring that to the committee. They wanted to know how the select feel, and I want to commit us totally to.
Yeah.
To that.
I think for the most part, the board would probably agree. Is that an accurate
10
statement?
grand's a lot of money.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
The ABC. They're out.
They're on vacation.
They're on vacation. They're on, what was it? For Baskin and Robbins with the flavors on vacation.
If you go to Ben and Jerry's, you gotta go to the flavor graveyard,
Yeah.
so.
That's right. Forgot.
Select person Sakosha?
Summer camp and before and after care registrations are available for review. And then they are starting they have a wall project going on to help do some fire separation.
All right. Technology committee didn't meet. The planning board 2 weeks ago, I was not able to be at because I had a conflicting appointment. And that's it. Planning board's tomorrow. So there's a list of items for tomorrow's agenda.
Ooh.
You may.
Select person Ed, thank you for your conservation commission, years of service.
Did I see in the minutes that you're gonna be an alternate?
I made a decision.
Oh, okay. If you read the minutes, it kind of sounds like they made the decision for you. That's called being voluntold, man.
That was how he got here.
I know.
I have more rights as a citizen.
He's a Conservation Commission alternate.
All right, final public comment?
Again, if you're participating virtually and you'd like to make a comment, you can raise your hand, unmute yourself.
Right.
Yep.
Up my 3 minutes.
Oh,
Another 3 minutes.
you were lucky. You used more than your 3 minutes,
As
but that's okay. We like you, Ken.
Mr. Ayers certainly appreciated Selectman Ayer, but he's still facing a write-in, so can't count him out yet. As to the, you were talking about a truck, I probably end up participating in that, taxes and so forth, a lot of other people. It's always easier to, spend somebody else's money. And I know Mark from his previous business, they had a lot of trucks. But I think he and Reno are very frugal, and I question whether or not they looked at things with aluminum cabs and stuff like that. It never hurts to check what's out there and the companies that are using these things a lot more and, or equally, and seeing what kind of luck they've had with aluminum cabs and salt and all that stuff. And as, the powertrains, I heard powertrain problems. I mean, if that's with manual transmissions or automatics, something to look at there. Some of the bigger companies, they're going to these automatic transmissions and, hopefully, part of the problem, of course, is operators. You can have the best truck in the world, but if it don't get operated properly, you're going to lose transmissions and rear ends and stuff like that. The other thing that I wanted to mention and comment on was you're going, you're here again, you're going to go to a virtual candidates forum. I just don't understand it. I don't know who made that decision, but I know that I've been listening out there. And if it's for this COVID stuff, one of the latest thorough, real medical reports that come out is from Johns Hopkins. And they have real doctors there. You've got to be suspicious about the CDC and this guy called Fauci. If we're relying on him to protect us. I'd looked at Johns Hopkins. They have already issued what their intelligent, surveys and positions on this and the masking and all that stuff. So I think that I think it's important if it's able to have these candidate forums in person, it marks better. Thank you for letting me comment.
Thank you, Ken.
Again, if you're participating virtually and you'd like to make a comment, you can raise your hand using the feature in Teams, or if you're on your phone, you press *6 to unmute yourself, speak up, wait to be recognized by the chair. Last opportunity at tonight's meeting. And Mr. Chair.
Seeing none, I'll close public comment and like to make a motion to go into non-public for personnel and legal.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Here, I.
Bailey, aye.
Patrick, aye.
Scotia.
Nap aye. Everyone have a good evening.